tiny needles fall as I let down the keys to let in the breeze that climbs through the screen of this resting sea. A lullaby of birds and breezes, rocking branches in these trees. The street light hums a steady tone, a bagpipe drone in this resting place. Amazing grace. I fell down the stairs, a bloody nose landing and comforted scares, an old rocking chair, a young mother's arms holding full arms. If I fall down dead, Mom will come running to hold up my head, at least that's what she said. The work for her son is just never done. Lullaby of moms and bleeds, his rocking treetops back to sea. The sunlight dribbles on our bibs, spills into cribs in this resting place. A shut-eyed face. The end of the line. Family and friends file by one at a time, whispering goodbye, their cars keeping pace to the resting place. Up in the front seat, someone is crying a quiet defeat as he rides down the street with flowers of ace for the resting place. Lullaby of lines and verses, rocking souls behind the hearse. The headlight beam, a vacant aisle, the longest mile to this resting place. The slowest race. The moon was so bright, the clouds pulled the covers of warm pastel light on a bird sleeping tight in feathers white lace in this resting place. Again, that was another guitar song. I have to grow my nails out to play guitar, and then I have to cut these really short, long, short, and then you hear clickety click, and then blue, blue, blue. Yeah, I wrote that kind of that. Yeah, it's for my mom, and I thought when you died you had to fall down dead. Turns out you don't. But I remember seeing it was like some Disney movie, and some guy got shot and fell by a pond. That's Disney for you. And I thought that's how you die. And then, but I don't know if his eyes were closed. Maybe I think they. I don't remember. But I also thought you had to close your eyes. So anyway, that line, if I fall down dead, Mom will come running to hold up my head. I told my mom, I said, if I ever die, will you hold me up? And she agreed. Yes. So thanks, Mom. Always there for me. So hopefully I won't go first. It's also been on my mind. my squishy, mushy mush of a mind. What else is in that song? You know, it's really For the Roses, and it's also Sisso Toe Bell Lane, both Joni Mitchell songs. That I took the form. You know what's cool about this is that I had the first two lines, "The moon is so bright," this mockingbird up singing all through the night, and it serves them right. I had some of that, and so I was sitting on a porch swing on well, I think the building is on Ole campus of the, oh God, it's the, Miss Harrington works there. Emily Harrington's mom used to work there. I think it's public relations. And they had a porch swing out there and a big tree, and there was a moon, literally, it was like 3 times as large, full moon. And I was suspended in air, and that entire song came out in one bar. So I haven't changed it since. And then the next day, I think I was noodling around with it in Meek Hall in the hallway because the acoustics were good, and I just figured out how to play it. So anyway, so it's probably better a guitar song. It'd also be good if I actually would practice these things. I haven't played them in years. I used to have a gig over at the Coffee Bistro, which is also no more. And you know what's interesting? There was this is really interesting, isn't it? A coffee shop that I used to play Wednesday nights at, and they got rid of everybody. I walked in one night, and they said, the waiter handed me a note saying, "You're not playing here anymore." And they didn't pay us. They used to make our dinner. That was our payment, which was fine. They had really good food and good milkshake. But so I thought that was no way to fire somebody, and I wasn't the only one that got fired. And there were, each of us had a night, and they kept one guy who was playing this instrument that was sort of like you push a button and it plays a song. And so he wasn't really doing any composing or anything. And I would go in there, I'd be playing Joni Mitchell and Indigo Girls and Don McLean, and I did some of my own, a couple I'd written by then. And so, like Lately and Earlyville I was doing by then, and I had just written a couple by then. So anyway, I haven't written a whole bunch, but I was starting to do it. And so I called the owner, and I'm like, that's no way to fire people. And he said, well, I'm trying to keep my business, and obviously the business is now gone. And I wonder if maybe because we were doing covers that he fired all of us that were doing covers, because I found out later you have to have licensing and all that stuff. So, and that, you can understand. It's either that or I brought a cockroach in with my guitar case. That's a possibility. But, the places were packed. I mean, when I would go in, the place was packed. So I used to love going in there. And here's why I bring all that up, is because I had also written a little fragment of a song, which was Just Before I Left I Sat Alone, which was the last thing I ever wrote or did in that establishment, I think, before I left. And then they since knocked the building down, and I never got to perform that song. But it goes, let me think. Sounds like the Muppet movie. Just before I left, I sat alone, watching at the window, blinking bulbs, and as they twinkled on and off, I sucked my last ease from my cough that warmed my hand. Before the band of bistro fans has hit the door, before their slop for poor old Mop has flown the floor, and just before you're up to pay, and just before you go, I'll stay, so you won't forget to remember. A record-breaking chill has cleared the air, and restless cabin fever took its pulse. Perhaps it's too much sitting still that made me head up to this hill of day off night. And with your sights fixed on the lights, it numbs your eyes. In coffee bars that took in stars from freezing skies, and in the calm, a brewing storm will down for one more refill, Ward, so you won't forget to remember. And as I'm wishing you good night, if you wish you may, you might never forget to remember. Just before I left, I sat alone. Sounds like a lot like on Golden Pond. You know, I love Dave Grusin. And that second part of the song, I'll shut up in a minute, but this is fun. It was the coldest night of the year in October, and I wrote that song going to Kroger. I literally stopped, and I kept whipping out a pen and an envelope, or who knows what I wrote it on. Some guy who used to sit out at the square, and I used to think it was creepy, but maybe he was lonely, and maybe that's... I heard people used to sit out in their cars in the square during the 60s or something, and that was the thing to do. But anyway, he was an older guy, and I remember he stopped and he said, "You a writer?" And I said, "Yes." I don't remember what I said. I think I said yes. I wasn't trying to be too friendly, and I think he offered me a ride. And I'm like, "Oh, see you later." But I went to Kroger. I used to walk everywhere, and I was really skinny. So on that note, I'll be playing some more songs for you later, but for now, I have to go walk the dog, so you'll be happy about that. Good night.